right, great start to the cocktail showdown. Let's keep it going with Jake Bazade and Dale Laflamme, the co-founders of Curation Beverage Company. Come on up.
Judges, thank you. BevNet, first of all, thank you for hosting us. Honored to be here. Judges, we're hoping you enjoyed a little bit of our product last night. I am Dale, one of the co-founders of Curation Bev Co. This is my much older cousin over here to my left.
I'm Jake, also co-founder of Curation Beverage Company, and we're based in Boulder, Colorado. Even though Dale and I are cousins, we started from two separate sides of the industry. I was running a brewery out east, and Dale was running a restaurant on the West Coast. What we saw was a fundamental shift in our consumers' behaviors. The consumer was no longer just a beer drinker or a wine drinker. The consumer was drinking across categories: beer, wine, spirits, sometimes all even the same night. Apparently, no one ever shared the old adage, beer before liquor, never been sicker. We saw an opportunity to meet the modern consumer's needs. We have launched a platform with vodka-based seltzers, wine spritz, and cocktails, all under one brand. Why did we do this? First, we've got to talk about our consumer. Our consumers are millennials and Gen Zs. We spent 18 months in the market, product testing, doing blinds, double blinds, consumer panels, all to understand what these consumers really want. What they want is a brand that they can connect with on an emotional and experiential level. They crave unique flavor profiles, packaging differentiation, and experience over all of the currently malt-based and artificially flavored products on the market today. We have brought that product to them.
All right, we've got a great product. Next, we look at each other and say, well, how do we get to this thing into the marketplace? How do we steal market share? We identified who the category leaders were, and in doing so, knew that we needed to line price against them, that if we came out at $2 or $3 or $5 above, we weren't going to steal that market share. So with our 4-pack packaging, we went right up against the line price against the category leaders in each of our segments. Then we also looked at on-premise versus off-premise, and we knew that off-premise was where the biggest bang for our buck was going to be. So from an off-premise standpoint, we went out in the Front Range of Colorado, and we picked all the super independents. It's not a chain state. We really focused on independents, the biggest liquor stores where we would get that shelf visibility, the brand recognition, and we got into those locations first. Second to that was on-premise. We knew that on-premise wasn't a big volume play for us, but we realized it was an ability to have brand recognition and trial. So after we got into these larger independent accounts, the majors, we started picking strategic restaurants that were aligned with our brand and so forth around these, and that was to create the trial and the recognition, and then push them back into the off-premise locations. Okay, so we're 5 months in at this point, and understanding what's working for us, and all of it's working so far. What we've seen is that the 4-packs are moving the way they're supposed to, and ultimately we're very proud of what you see on the screen here. We've led with transparency. The front of every one of our products has all of the ingredients proudly labeled up front. That was something we're very excited about. We've gotten accolades on our packaging design. We most recently won first place at the International Whiskey Competition with our Sweet Tea Old Fashioned, but ultimately it comes back around to the fact that for us, we win on flavor. Last, but certainly not least, is because we did this platform that has 3 categories, vodka-based hard seltzers, wine spritz, and cocktails, it gave us a unique opportunity and an edge on the competition, which is the first ever tri-category variety pack, which we call the party pack. You have 3 different segments of product, 3 different ABVs. Our vodka seltzers are 5%. Our wine spirits are 7%, and our cocktails are at 9%. You have 5 different bases, alcohol bases, and 6 different products in total in our party pack here. First, differentiation was huge for us on this, and second to that, it was also about creating trial, going back to that consumer and understanding that they were drinking cross-category like Jake mentioned, and also the fact that there was this ability for someone to say, you know what, I may not know this brand, but if I grab this and I bring it home to my family, to my friends, there's something for everybody. We, right now in the major accounts in our market, are trailing in sales in the RTD category only behind the 2 national leaders within our first 120 days in these key accounts. What we found is that in the first 90 days in these accounts, the party pack represents 50% of the sales. As these accounts start hitting their 120-day mark, the party pack sales start to come down a little bit in that package, and we start seeing the 4-packs lifting up more as that consumer is determining what are my favorites within this package.
I'm sorry, I got to stop you
right.
there. Very
that
well
is the
done.
end of it. That is the end of it.
Outstanding. Round of applause.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Nick, let's start with you. I'd love to get your thoughts on the presentation and the brand. And in particular, I want to hear your thoughts on the on-premise versus off-premise strategy for Curation.
Yeah, so a lot packed into this party pack here, guys. So first, some of the things I liked. I really did like, and I was surprised or impressed to see the whiskey winning the medals. That was the one I liked the best. I think the flavor profile was very good. It's something I could see myself, drinking, and would buy another one or order another one. I think I want to go back to the comment I made to the last group about kind of this platform or broad portfolio approach. I actually didn't even know, I don't think, about the spritzers and the malt products until now, and I was already worried about trying to do too much. So as an example, and I'm doing this a little bit for the sake of emphasis here, I'm not sure I would drink the grapefruit one. Like, I had it, and I probably would not order that again. The whiskey, I would. So I was already worried, and that's why I go back to being a pure play. If you had a whiskey with black tea and a whiskey with rosemary and a whiskey with this or that, it's a lot easier for me to purchase across that one category. I think it's difficult when you start mixing categories. When I see this, the party pack, I honestly get very worried, because I think you're playing in, you're trying to be, as you said, I think the words you used, we're trying to be something for everybody or something like that. And I think as an early stage brand, you actually want to have the exact opposite approach. Find the select few that you really want to focus on and freaking knock it out of the park for those guys. And when you spread yourselves too thin, that is a sign of worry for me. So sorry for that harsh feedback there, but I did love the whiskey one, and I'd be curious to see when you talked about the 4-packs that were kicking up after the party pack kind of tapered off a little bit, which ones were actually trending. I'd be very curious to hear that.
Surprisingly, the grapefruit is one of them trending very well. It's really different per the 3 categories. I mean, to answer part of what you're saying is, this area in most of the stores we're seeing becomes the area for innovation. So even though it's 3 segments as the consumer's looking at it, we're falling on shelf together with all these products and having this amazing banner effect that's the 6 SKUs and this being the 7th. Categorically, summertime, our tequila margarita was ramped up. As the weather's starting to turn, that bourbon's coming in. Grapefruit's been very strong. Rosé's been leading really strong with the spritz. But it really, from the consumer, they're walking in and seeing it in one spot and gravitating towards this area of innovation within the box.
Paul, your thoughts on the go-to-market strategy for Curation?
Yeah, I'll leave some time for Brandy for sure, but I would agree that it's good that you've got some traction already. You're in a competitive marketplace in Colorado. I think it's an active consumer. These brands make sense. I think I would definitely say, the independent supers makes a lot of sense. The on-premise, I'm not sure the margin structure always works, but if you can make it go and consumers are buying it, as is, great. The variety pack, maybe the consumer will take it, but the logistics of running a business with all those different, compliance and what have you, that scares me a little bit. But if you can make it work, awesome. And the packaging graphics, a lot of it is very on trend with the target you're going for. That's great. Hopefully not too on trend, where there's so many people trying to do that type of look and feel. But I think you're onto something there.
Thank you.
Are you using the same distributors for all 3 different base spirit or base alcohols?
Currently, we have made the choice to self-distribute in our market, margin preservation mostly being number 1 right now. But in our market, you can use the same distributor for this. As you scale into different markets, to your point, you're solving a little bit of something there.
Brandy, your thoughts?
I have lots of things to say. You're sweetened with honey, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. I would say one of your taglines I think I wrote down before was nothing fake ever, right? So we're seeing a lot of brands, even the ones we've tasted today, that are going with natural and organic and nothing fake. So we see a big movement right now in terms of that. So this is going to become a very crowded space in terms of natural and organic and not fake, but I'm not seeing a lot of that come through on the packaging, and I think that's an important aspect of it. Variety packs sell. Consumers don't know what they want. I think you guys have done a very good job. And all the things that you're saying are things that we talk about all the time in terms of market research and what is selling and also what consumers want. But to Nick's point, it's a really challenging place to try to go and test all of it live. But if you're willing to do that in one state and then find out what works for you and then really kind of roll that out, I think probably narrowing that focus is going to be a benefit, and really kind of honing in on what is the point of differentiation over other brands as the space becomes more crowded.
All right. Great feedback. Very well done, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.